I was looking at my YouTube channel, responses from my subscribers, and then new people coming along responding to my videos. And this one particular response on a video that I had done, I forget what the video title was, but the point that I'm making should be self-evident what we're talking about. But anyway, there was an individual that responded by saying that you don't have to be fit to be a martial artist. I'm not attacking that individual because I don't see them before me. I've never had a one-on-one conversation with them, and I don't know who they are. So sometimes, we just have to grit and bear when we go through this thing called public access and social media, when we receive comments and so forth, and take it with a grain of salt, because we're not listening to that individual live, and a lot of times we don't know what's really on their mind and what they're actually referring to in some instances, or what they mean. Maybe it's an interpretation or misinterpretation on their part as to what it is that you're saying. But I will say this, just to answer that thought in or question or statement. Being fit, you don't have to be a martial artist. That is incorrect. You must be fit to be a martial artist. Now, as it relates to self-defense, I would imagine that you would have or need a reasonable portion of health and wellness or fitness to be able to take care of yourself if you were on the streets and you encountered someone that was trying to assail you or attack you. Reasonably so. But just learning self-defense by itself does not, by any stretch of the imagination, require the amount of training and dedication as does a martial artist. When we say martial artist in the true sense of the word martial artist, we're talking about someone who's studying a discipline encapsulated with many disciplines. You must learn to have certain values, if you were not already taught those as a child from your family, such as patience, kindness to your fellow man, charity, being a giving individual, self-control or temperance. You must possess that character or part of your character as well. And in the event that someone tries to take advantage of you, you must be able to stand your ground firmly with your feet planted on the ground and state what it is that you believe in, and that you're not going to deviate from that belief. Minimally, you must have this part of your character. And as it relates to the self-defense or martial arts is concerned, whatever the discipline is or whatever the training is, you must be willing and you must be passionate about your training. And this must be something that you incorporate into your life, and something that you do on a daily, semi-daily basis to maintain it. And I'm speaking more respectively of martial arts. So when you are a martial artist, in the traditional sense of martial arts, you are studying the history of the particular art that you're studying. You are undergoing a certain regimen of physical activity for conditioning, endurance, stamina, strength. You're also doing agility test, accuracy test, and you are also, of course, learning the techniques for defense and even offense, depending on what the art that you're studying. For example, karate is different than aikido. Aikido fundamentally does not have many strikes in it, as opposed to its counterpart, karate. Karate is more of a hands-on blocking and striking art. Hand, elbow, foot, knee, and even the head sometimes. Where aikido is, its main or primary function is that of redirection of the opponent and throwing and pinning your opponent. So depending on what the art is, you may have lesser strikes in it. To include judo. Judo is another one where you don't have that many strikes, little to none, depending on what the judo system is or the jiu-jitsu system even. Uh, those are based on primarily manipulation and throws and holds and chokes and locks, that type of thing. Irrespective of what it is that you're studying as it relates to martial arts, it still has some rigorous or potential rigorous type of training to condition you, the practitioner, in the event that you were to encounter someone in real life, in real time, in a real situation that's trying to harm you. In order to defend yourself, you don't want to be someone who's winded very easily, someone who has little to no muscle mass on your body. You don't want to be someone that have an attitude of lassitude. In other words, you're lazy about it. You have to be energetic, alive, vibrant, and alert and oriented when it comes to martial arts, because the person or the individual in the street that wants to hurt you or harm you, they are. And they have the desire to take away from you, that's your money, your property, or what have you, or they have the desire to do harm, physical harm to you. And if you don't have a minimal amount of strength, technique, from muscle memory, from training and so forth through repetition, they're going to overcome you as a martial artist. That is. So many martial arts guys and even some girls over the years, this past several decades, have received bad reps. I've heard street fighters say, and I've seen it in the videos on YouTube, where a street fighter has beat a karate guy, or a street fighter has beat a kung fu guy, or a judo guy, jiu-jitsu guy, or what have you. A street fighter has done this. You know, those stories never end. What happens oftentimes is that you have guys who have very minimal training in the martial arts, and they wear that on their chest. And then they have people believing that they're better than what they really are, or they have more experience and or training than they really do or actually do. And then against somebody who's determined as a street fighter to knock your head off, and then next thing you know, once the street fighter beats this so-called martial artist, they have now a reputation for themselves, and then they claim that karate's no good, martial arts is no good, kung fu and jiu-jitsu is no good. But the funny thing is that these street fighters have never come up against a real martial artist. And coincidentally, real martial artists don't put themselves in situations to fight in the first place. As a matter of fact, we were always taught as martial artists at a very young age to try and avoid conflict, especially that of a physical nature. Why? Because we want to keep peace. It is only in extreme situations and or circumstances that we would use our training on another human being. Because if you are properly trained, you are very, very dangerous in any martial arts system. If you are properly trained, you are very, very dangerous. I said that again. And when you have the correct or the right mindset, you know what you can do to another human being, and you don't want to do it. You absolutely positively don't want to hurt another individual. Again, in only those dire situations when you must protect yourself and or someone weak or your family, all bets are off. And it takes a man or a woman of character, true character, to realize what they possess as it relates to martial arts and not abuse it. So, getting back to the original statement, you don't have to be fit to be a martial artist, is incorrect information. You do have to be fit if you want to be effective. Now, as a person who's just learning self-defense, over the years I've taught people just self-defense that did not want to learn history of martial arts. They didn't want to stay for 5-10 years to get any rank. All they wanted to do was be able to walk out on the street and have the confidence through something that you've given them foundationally that they could use if someone were to try and hurt them and they had to defend themselves. That's all they wanted. So you must prepare yourselves, instructors. You must prepare yourselves mentally for those types of students. Everyone doesn't not want to learn a martial arts that's going to involve them be a member of your organization for 20 and 30 years. They don't want to. They just simply want self-defense. But I hope that this was of value to that individual maybe that's watching this video again, or this particular video. And if you're not that person, anyone out there that thinks that you are not supposed to be in shape or fit to be a martial artist, that's misinformation. You are supposed to be fit. As I said before, if you're going to be effective in protecting yourself. Okay, so I'm going to pass this on. I'll see you in the next video. If you have any further questions or any topics as it relates to martial arts, health and wellness and fitness and diet and cancer and any of those subjects, even social subjects and what have you. If you want to know my viewpoint on anything that I can answer publicly here on this platform and format, please do so in the comment section below. You know what I'm going to say. Yahweh loves you and Brother Teacher love you. So long.